I haven't done one of these in a while, so I thought it would be a good idea to make one of these because I do like making them and I have gotten good responses when it comes to making these. I am doing a let's go through one of my decks and let's see what people think about it. I call this deck Gain Life to Pay Life. While going through this, I will be going over the commander and going through the list of the cards, going through like planeswalkers, creatures, not talking about all of them, just talking about the cards in the deck that makes the deck go. This is my second vampire deck I've ever made and it is 3 colors and I really do like this deck, so again I hope you enjoy this video. But before I go any further, a word from our sponsors. The sponsor of this video is me. I have started an Etsy page where I'm going to try and be selling clothes that I've designed, thought would be funny, thought would be cool, thought would be amazing on people's bodies. So I literally spent maybe a month or two looking at different resources and stuff to come up with the nicest clothes I could possibly find, with the coolest designs that I have done myself, with stuff like playmats, hoodies, t-shirts. I'm going to try and do phone cases. They're harder than I thought, but I do think that it is a really good thing to actually put into. So if you would like to help me out or help the channel out, please go onto my Etsy, it will be linked down below, and you'll be able to find very nice clothing and also be supporting the channel, so links down below. And also if there's any other designs, I will be putting on any of my social media, so please follow me there as well. So if you've ever wanted to make a 3-color vampire deck, this video is right for you because I'll be going over the commander, Lucia Sanguis Tribune. Hopefully I am saying that right. For 5 red, white and a black, you get a legendary creature, vampire soldier, that is a mythic. Lucia costs 1 less to cast for each 1 life you gain this turn. She has first strike and lifelink. Pay 5 life, put 3 1/1 counters on Lucia, activate this ability only on your turn and only once each turn, and is a 4/4. So from the commander, the whole point of this deck is to get your commander out for the 3 mana, mainly because I love that even if she dies, she still costs less depending on how much life you gained. So the whole point of this deck is to play a large amount of vampires that power up and help other vampires, gain a bunch of life to be able to power up your commander, and then have an army of vampires able to attack to gain you more life. Then you're able to use the life to kind of then do other things. It's like recycling. It's absolutely amazing. I rarely play this deck, but in fairness, I rarely get to play Magic because I live in the middle of nowhere, but I do like this deck. So we're going to start off with the planeswalkers of this deck. When it comes to this deck, there is 4 planeswalkers in total, 3 of them being Saurons and 1 being Dihada, Binder of Worlds. For 1 red, white and a black, you get a legendary planeswalker, Dihada, that is a mythic. +2, up to 1 target legendary creature gains Vigilance, Lifelink and Indestructible until your next turn. -3, reveal the top 4 cards of your library, put any number of legendary cards from among them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. Create a treasure token for each card put into your graveyard this way. -11, gain control of all non-land permanents until end of turn. Untap them, they gain haste until end of turn. Dihada, Binder of Worlds can be your commander and she's on 5 loyalty. Kinda she's in here to power up your commander, to give more life, or power up a legendary creature to be able to then play your commander, make an indestructible and stuff like that. Plus for the very end, if I have enough and have a large army and there's only 1 person left, I want all of their creatures and then attack with everything all at once. But then there's Saurons like Sauron the Mirthless, Sauron Solemn Visitor and Solemn Vengeful Bloodlord. Again, if you know any of these Saurons, you can probably guess why these are in here. Next is the creatures in this deck. I want this to be a very heavy creature deck, and in this deck there is 35 creatures and only 1 of them is non-vampire. But you get really cool vampires like Anawan the Ruined Sage, Butcher of Malachor, Crossway Trouble Markers, Edgar Charmed Groom, Maven Fae Dusk Apostle, Necropolis Regent, Olivia Crimson Bride, Paladin of Atonement, Sanctum Seeker, Sengir the Dark Baron. These are the vampires that I love to play second I get them. They're very powerful and they help other vampires and do vampire things. Again, if you're more concerned, there is a link down below of my Mox Field where you get to see the full deck. There is just so many cards I could have gone through, but I wanted to make this probably like the best of the best optimized. So again, it's not one of those things that I'm just kind of firing every single card out. Next, we're going on to sorceries. Now, when it comes to sorceries, there's not many of them. However, there is a few. They all do different things. So I thought I would just read them out because you get great sorceries in this deck, just like Death Grasp. For X white and a black, you get a sorcery that is a rare. Death Grasp deals X damage to target creature or player, you gain X life. Olivia's Wrath. For 4 and a black, you get a sorcery that is a rare. Each non-vampire creature gets -X until end of turn, where X is the number of vampires you control. Sinister Waltz. For 3 black and a red, you get a sorcery that is a rare. Choose 3 target creature cards in your graveyard. Return 2 of them at random to the battlefield and put 1 other onto the bottom of your library. Again, these are great cards that do different things. One pretty much is a board wipe for anyone but me and that one creature. The other one is if I have a large amount of mana, I'm able to literally go, I want to get rid of the threat or do a large amount of damage to you for me to gain life to then be able to make my commander cheaper. And then the other one is a card that I actually think doesn't see enough play. For 5 mana, you can get 3 things back and 1 back into your library. I know it's a bit risky, but I do think it is worth it in my opinion. Because there is a fair few cards that are like 3 to 6 mana that are only able to get you 1 creature back. This gets you 2, plus 1 that you're able to redraw, and it's technically a free shuffle as well. Next we're going on to instances. When it comes to instances in this deck, there is 3, but only 2 I want to talk about. The other one is okay, but it just powers up the commander a little bit and it's really cheap and it's not very much to talk about. But there is 2 here that have a little game plan that work together, and they are Akroma's Will. For 3 and a white, you get an instant that is a rare. Choose one. If you control a commander as you cast a spell, you may choose both. Creatures you control gain flying, vigilance and double strike until end of turn. Creatures you control gain lifelink, indestructible and protection from all colours until end of turn. Response. For 2 hybrid mana of a red and white, you get a instant that is a rare. Response deals 5 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. Resurgence. For 3 red and white, you get a sorcery that is a rare. Creatures you control gain first strike and vigilance until end of turn. After this phase, there is an additional combat phase followed by an additional main phase. Both of these cards are planned to be the game enders. What I want is when I have a large army with my commander on the field, play Akroma's Will or play Resurgence and attack with everything, hopefully getting a second combat or none of my creatures dying, gaining me a load of life to be able to do it again on the next turn. And next we're going on to artifacts. When it comes to this, there is 9 in total, 4 of them being mana rocks that I don't really require talking about, 3 of them being equipment, which again are okay or amazing equipment for the deck. However, there is 2 cards I think go really well in this deck that I would like to talk about, which are Coat of Arms. For 5, you get an artifact that is a rare. Each creature gets +1/+1 for each other creature on the battlefield that shares at least 1 creature type with it. Bolus's Citadel. For 3 and 3 black, you get a legendary artifact that is a rare. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may play the top card of your library. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its converted mana cost rather than paying its mana cost. Tap, sacrifice 10 non-land permanents, each opponent loses 10 life. Again, because I'm getting a load of life in this deck, there is a chance that I'm able to play the top card of my library a few times, lose a bunch of life, and rather gain it back or gain more. The other one is, again, planning to have a giant army of vampires. Because I have like 38 vampires in this deck, I'm able to then power them up. So everything, like if Christmas came around and I ended up playing every single creature, which I don't think I ever will, everything gets +38/+38. It's absolutely amazing. It'll never happen. But again, if things even get +3/+3 or +5 or +8, that's even worth it for my opinion. Next, we're going on to the enchantments of the deck. When it comes to enchantments, there's 6 in total, but I only want to mention 4. Some of them are here because they're weird but quite good, and some are here just because they're generally good. But you get enchantments like Cradle of Vitality. For 3 and a white, you get an enchantment that is a rare. Whenever you gain life, you may pay 1 and a white. If you do, put a 1/1 counter on target creature for each 1 life you gained. Daega's Sanctuary. For 2 and a white, you get an enchantment that's an uncommon. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control a black or red permanent, you gain 2 life. If you control a black permanent and a red permanent, you gain 4 life instead. True Conviction. For 3 and 3 white, you get an enchantment that is a rare. Creatures you control have double strike and lifelink. Wound Reflection. For 5 and a black, you get an enchantment that is a rare. At the end of each turn, each opponent loses life equal to the life he or she lost each turn. Again, a lot of these cards is just to gain life or power up my creatures. They're really good and amazing enchantments when it comes to this deck. And then finally, probably the weakest part of the deck is the lands. This is not a deck I want to be fully optimized or amazing. These are the decks that if I have like a few spare lands that are not going in my favorite decks, I've then upgraded this deck instead. So again, it's not like I'm not putting in my most powerful lands, it is more like the best lands I have that are spare. But you get lands like Godless Shrine, Isolated Chapel, Slayer's Stronghold, Smouldering Marsh, Vault of Champions, and War Room. Now that we've gone through this deck, let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. If you have any cards recommended, I would love to see again in the comments down below. If you have a Moxfield with a vampire deck or any decks in general, again, let me know in the comments down below. I love to see other people's decks. Let me know what you think of my deck if you've actually looked it up on Moxfield or just seen this video. Again, I love talking to people about Magic the Gathering. While you're down there, remember to like and subscribe and all of that. Plus, if you don't really know the power level of this deck or are confused about power levels in general, my last video was about power levels and explaining how they work, which is right here. I also have a playlist of Magic the Gathering videos I have here and a subscribe button here. And if you want any more deck text of my own decks, let me know in the comments down below and I will see you all in the next video.